if you didn't know, Arsenal were in a very difficult contest against Aston Villa. They went behind twice, and then in the 90th minute, Jorginho popped up with the strike of the season. He won't get credited for the goal.
It was an own goal.
Remember what we saw yesterday, over the weekend, and then Martinelli put the cherry on top.
It's interesting because, I mean, both, you know, I've been talking about Unai Emery and what he has been doing at Aston Villa. I've been talking about how Aston Villa have sort of like found something for themselves. Emery is a top manager, beyond any other doubt. He's a top manager. The things he's done in Europe, you know, the things he did, even with Arsenal, right? And he came into this game thinking he knew how to unlock Arsenal. And it looked like that was going to happen. Imagine the last 2 goals that Arsenal scored that made it 4-2, they came after 90 minutes. It was that close.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the premier football show on the entire interwebs. It's your boy Shropsy. To my right, I've got Tele as usual. But before we get into it, we're going to have a moment of silence for Christian Atsu, who passed away tragically in the earthquakes that took place in Turkey and Syria recently. Our thoughts and prayers are with his friends and family as they go through these times, and let's have a moment of silence for Christian Atsu. All right. Okay, let's get back into it. I love Monday's episode because Mondays aren't about what we think is going to happen. They're not about opinions or thoughts. They're about facts and figures and what happened. So Monday's episode are my favorite episodes. Happy Monday to you and yours. Hope you're having a productive start to your week.
Why do I feel like you're happy about Monday? Because Liverpool won. Because it looks like, no, let's be honest now. It looks like Liverpool have sort of turned the corner, right? Ever since that Merseyside derby win, it looks like Liverpool has been on the up.
Sometimes it takes some big games to inspire players. It's coinciding with players coming back from injury, Van Dijk back, and that's what really made this Newcastle game. I guess we can start there before we climb up the table. That's what made this Newcastle game such a big deal. And the boys performed. Gakpo and Darwin on the score sheet. That's what I want to see.
I mean, I feel like it was very, very big. This was a Newcastle side that once they were at home, you knew that they were going to get a result. No matter the team, no matter what happened. Over the course of the season, they've been very, very consistent. I mean,
the best defense in the league.
Best defense in the league. We saw some sort of like downturn in form at the front of the field for them. You know, they kind of stopped scoring goals. You know, since like December, they haven't really scored that many goals. They've been having a lot of draws. But you just always felt like they would still get a result if it is at, at St. James's Park. But this was a Liverpool side coming off the back of that big win, in that Merseyside derby. And, they put Newcastle to the cleaners. Yeah,
put Newcastle to the cleaners. This is Newcastle's second defeat in the league. The first being by Liverpool as well. Coincidence, probably, but yeah. So excited to be the team to have done that. Liverpool are climbing up the table. 6 points on the trot does a lot in this league.
Definitely.
And if they can put together a series of results, we are touching distance from top 4 position. So that's great. Moving up the table, I think we'll move down the table in another episode because I think we really need to table Chelsea's matter and we don't really have the time for that.
Oh, Mr. D.
Chelsea, as you guys know, they fumbled in the Champions League. They stumbled once again. James Ward-Prowse, arguably the best free kick taker in the world.
So that's the thing, right? when you see a player lining up to take a free kick, and if at the end of the free kick you're disappointed that he did not score the free kick, that is definitely
you're saying something crazy.
That's something. He was lining up that free kick and I was like, this guy's going to score.
It's like a penalty for James Ward-Prowse. Only David Beckham has scored more free kicks in the Premier League than him, his right foot is a wand and he did it once again to Chelsea. Chelsea, come on now.
I mean, there's no way you want to set your wall. There's no way you want to set up as a goalkeeper. James Ward-Prowse is probably going to hit the target.
Yeah, and to get it, to talk about the technique, to get it up and down in that short distance, like it went into the bottom corner. Incredible free kick. But yeah, Chelsea will deep dive into what happened to you next week.
I mean, we don't have time for them now. No, we're talking about people that
we'll talk about that. And you know who? Maybe we'll get who on the show. I know you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, climbing up, we're gonna go all the way to the top of the table. Yeah. Man City and Arsenal. It was a big week at the top end of the table. Arsenal. I mean, what can we say about Arsenal now? They've showed us something.
It's interesting because it is that kind of season. It's that kind of league. We're seeing every weekend something big is happening. Just last week, the last round of matches, we're talking about Arsenal having lost it, right? We're talking about Arsenal.
They dropped points in 4 games.
They dropped points. We're talking about Arsenal, the boys, they're too young, they're bowing under pressure. And we're talking about Manchester City.
Going on their 15-game win streak. Yeah, here we are. That's the beauty of the Premier League. That's why it is the most watched league in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Because you know what's going to happen. So yeah, if you didn't know, Arsenal were in a very difficult contest against Aston Villa. They went behind twice, and then in the 90th minute, Jorginho popped up with the strike of the season. He won't get credited for the goal.
It was an own goal.
Remember what we saw yesterday, over the weekend, and then Martinelli put the cherry on top.
It's interesting because, I mean, both, you know, I've been talking about Unai Emery and what he has been doing at Aston Villa. I've been talking about how Aston Villa have sort of like found something for themselves. Emery is a top manager, beyond any other doubt. He's a top manager. The things he's done in Europe, you know, the things he did, even with Arsenal, right? And he came into this game thinking he knew how to unlock Arsenal. And it looked like that was going to happen. Imagine the last 2 goals that Arsenal scored that made it 4-2, they came after 90 minutes. It was that close.
Yeah, it was an elite performance. Those are the type of performances that you say are championship performances. Yeah. And I think it was quite telling that 2 of Arsenal's goals, the one that equalized and then what was the winning goal, Jorginho's, came from 2 of the older players that they brought in. Because they have a bunch of young players, but Zinchenko and Jorginho, they have 2 players, they're both national team captains, they both won the big honors before, so they showed that championship pedigree that some of the other players might be lacking.
Yeah,
so that's why Jorginho is separate from his footballing ability. He's not someone's party, but what he brings into the squad is that.
And is there something about OG Martinez giving Arsenal an own goal?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's the double agent allegations against Martinez coming off his back.
Right.
He had no idea what happened there, but you have to look at it.
True.
And then just below Arsenal, City had a chance to go back on top of the table.
Yeah.
Granted, Arsenal had a point in hand. And then, like you said, Forest, like, I mentioned how their fan base is one that stuck with the side the entirety of the season.
Yep.
And they showed that they made it a very difficult game for City and got a result.
I mean, this is the same Nottingham Forest side that knocked Manchester City out of their cup, the Carling Cup. So it feels like Nottingham Forest understand how to play this Manchester City side.
Situation.
They did not play anything. I mean, they had not that many chances. They didn't have the possession. I mean, Nottingham Forest. But, you know, he just took that one chance, you know, dying embers of the game, I think 82nd or 87th minute, and, you know, they took their chance. And it was a Chris Wood goal. That was Chris Wood's first Premier League goal for Nottingham Forest, you know, since he's come back into the Premier League with them. So it was interesting. But for Manchester City, what's going on with Pep Guardiola?
Pep. I mean, here we are again, overtaking, thinking he's smarter than everybody else, and he's paying the price for that. I feel like we'll table Pep smarter as well, because as you guys know, I have a lot of thoughts on Pep Guardiola. I don't hold my punches on Pep Guardiola, and they're coming for you. Just below there is a 3rd horse in the title race. Some will agree, some will disagree, but it looks like, United are 3 points behind Manchester City, having played the same amount of games.
Yes.
So I think United are in the title race. United are looking like one of the most consistent sides in the league. Marcus Rashford looks like the best player in Europe. I mean, statistically, he's the best player in Europe right now. The man is automatic. Every time he steps on the pitch, you know he's going to score. Like, he's going to score next week again. Like, every single time he throws a goal, you know he's going to score. So yeah, big result for Manchester United. How are you feeling?
Yeah, definitely big result for Manchester United. I feel like Manchester United fans are trying to be very cautious. You know, Manchester United fans are trying to distance themselves from the title race conversation. But I promise you, it is what it is, right? Even if Manchester United not go on to win it, forget about the banter that will come from it. Oh, I think the media and, you know, rival fans are trying to set Man U fans up, saying, oh, you're in the title race now, oh, you're in the title race now. So if they don't end up winning it, then you feel like that's something to banter them about. But that's not true. This is an Erik ten Hag side that's 7 months in the making, a Manchester United side that has come off the back of a very, very poor couple of years, right? And we're seeing just 7 months into Ten Hag's reign, and we're seeing all of this progress. It is definitely something to be proud about. Take the accolades, right? We're in the title race. If we don't go on to win it, that's fine. We're not saying that the title is our target this season. It was never the target this season. In fact, it was not in anybody's imagination at the start of the season. Top 4 was the target. It looks like we're solidifying that place. We're probably going to make top 4. We look like we're going to have a good run in the Europa League. We look like we're in the finals of the Carling Cup as well. We're still in the FA Cup too. So it's a very, very good time for Manchester United fans. I feel like just take it as it is. We're in the title race, just 5 points up of Arsenal, who are currently in first place. And, you know, long may it continue.
Yeah, long may continue. It's a young Manchester United side, but it's also a £1.5 billion squad. So them being here shouldn't come as that much of a surprise. Right. But moving on, that is the top of the Premier League. The title races are heating up in other leagues across Europe. The Bundesliga currently has all 3 teams at the top of the pile level on points after 21 games. Dortmund are looking really good. They look like they want to try and get one over on Bayern again.
Yeah, it looks like that kind of season as well for Dortmund. They've had a pretty good run of results. Some of their players are coming up for them. Karim Adeyemi, especially.
He went off injured. Hopefully it's not long term, but
he
looks
so.
so
I
good.
hope he's not injured long term. But you know, those players, that's the kind of team that Dortmund is. As much as you know, you see them play like a team, kind of play like team cohesion and everything. You always have that one player that stands out, and that's sort of like the talisman. We saw it with Sancho, we saw it with Haaland. Even when it was years before, we saw it with Marco Reus, we saw it with Götze.
There's always world-class players
always,
in the squad
exactly.
who go on to do big things in the game.
Exactly.
And it looks like we're seeing that once again. It was an exciting weekend in France as well. PSG extended a lead at top, even though it came quite close. It was a very exciting game. Goals from Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi. Neymar went off injured, which is a doubt.
They said it was an ankle sprain.
Yeah, a very bad ankle sprain, which makes him a doubt for the Champions League. But the highlight of the game was the Lionel Messi free kick to win the game in the dying members of the game. It was just brilliant. Like, he thinks he's doing well proud these days. Right. Ripped to talk about Mbappe was overjoyed. So, a big moment in Paris. Looks like PSG will win on our title. Will they be Bayern Munich? We don't know. But yeah, that's a nice segue into the Champions League. And we have more Champions League games for you this week. And we're going to kick off with tomorrow's games. Tomorrow is one of the bigger games, a game we've seen multiple times. Real Madrid versus Liverpool at Anfield. Very big game. Liverpool have picked up form at the right time. I guess if you asked me my thoughts on this game a few weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, no chance. But things seem to be looking up. And with Anfield back, the fans are back on side. I think Liverpool have a chance here. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Liverpool, like you said, have picked up form at the right time. Close to the end of the season, you know, we're more than halfway through the season. We're in the final stages of the Champions League, and players that were injured are coming back. I saw that Luis Diaz has come back into training. You know, Diogo Jota is coming back into training. So
he played actually.
He played. Van Dijk played against Newcastle. So. And when Van Dijk is in the team, Liverpool are a different proposition entirely, right? It was solid. Liverpool did not concede a goal against Newcastle, so that's definitely big. But with Real Madrid, we've seen them falter in the league. They were, sort of like going neck and neck with Barcelona at the start of the season, but the gap has widened more than, I think, 10 points now or thereabouts in La Liga. So Real Madrid are not necessarily firing on all cylinders now. And you're coming to Anfield, I expect Liverpool to take the 3 points.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting game, but as we all know, it's Real Madrid and Real Madrid. This is
their competition,
it's their competition. Like, so until the ref blows his whistle after the second leg, Real Madrid and the tie, almost regardless of the scoreline.
Very, very true.
The other game is Frankfurt versus Napoli. Napoli, one of our favorites, as in all Nigerians are half Napoli fans at the moment. Osimhen is still firing till this day. Keep running back the episodes. Almost every episode we talk about
Osimhen.
And he hasn't stopped banging.
True.
Osimhen and Maradona, how do you think they'll fare against Frankfurt?
So I feel like I expect Napoli to come through. But will they look at prioritizing Serie A over Champions League? I hope not. I hope Frankfurt will not cause too much problems for them. Osimhen, talking about Osimhen, he is the most informed striker in the world at the moment. I mean, we're talking about Marcus Rashford, but that's still over like a small sample size. That's like saying, okay, from the moment the World Cup ended till now, Rashford is the hottest player at the moment. But over the course of the season, Osimhen has been the most consistent. He's the best striker in the world at the moment.
In my opinion. Top of the table for the first time in
basically.
How long?
So I hope Osimhen and Varashaya can come through for Napoli, but they'll be going to Germany, maybe get a draw at least, and then come back to Italy and then do the business. So.
All right, the Champions League continues on Wednesday as usual, and we've got Inter hosting Porto and Leipzig hosting Manchester City. What are your predictions?
I'll start with Leipzig, Manchester City. I feel like as much as Manchester City are fumbling the bag with the Premier League and they fumbled the bag with the Carling Cup. I feel like the Champions League is the one where they will actually come up seriously. Because, I mean, imagine, this is a Manchester City side that has basically bust the Premier League. They've bust all the local leagues. So how easy is it for Pep to sort of like motivate these players? Like, how much motivation do you want to do for these players that have seen it all, done it all on the local stages? But talking about the Champions League, that's the one elusive title for this Manchester City squad and for Pep Guardiola himself. So I believe that when it comes to the Champions League, they will go all out, right? So I'm expecting to see a clean sweep for Manchester City, both home and away. But yeah, Inter Milan and Porto, both teams are somewhat on the same level so far this season. Inter Milan currently, I think, second in Serie A. I expect to see maybe an Inter Milan win.
Yeah, being the home side.
Being the home side first, and then we'll see how it goes in the second leg.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on both cases. The City, I expect them to be too much for Leipzig. This season, we've seen strong Leipzig sides in the past. This isn't as strong a Leipzig side as we've seen recently. They don't have as great a manager as they've had recently. So, yeah, I have to go with you on that. And then on Thursday, since we care about the Europa League these days, I mean, we do care about the Europa League these days. It's one of the most exciting ties in European football this season. Manchester United versus Barcelona.
True.
It was 2-2 at the Camp Nou. So yeah, set up perfectly now. Old Trafford, theatre of dreams. How you feeling?
Bro, this is where I see it, right? I feel both teams are on paper, let me say, like with their results or with the way they play and everything, on paper, and with their managers, on paper, you can say maybe both teams are sort of like equals, right? I can't say Barcelona are better than Manchester United at the moment. And I also cannot say that Manchester United are better than Barcelona. But I feel like Old Trafford support will come into play and Manchester United will probably get the result. I mean, the Old Trafford support has been something else. I feel like Barcelona missed a big opportunity to get something at Camp Nou. They should have at least tried to win that game, even if it was just by 1 goal. Because, of course, remember, goal difference doesn't count anymore in European football. So it was a very, very big miss for Barcelona having not won that game. It's level playing field now, you know, in terms of aggregate. But Old Trafford support, especially this season, has been crazy. Even when we go on away games as well, we see the kind of support that we have, and it has just been amazing. So I think the Old Trafford support will definitely come into play, you know, in favor of Manchester United. And do not forget, there's Casemiro there, there's Sabitzer, both guys. I mean, Sabitzer in the first leg, he hadn't really played that many games with the squad, and he was sort of shaky.
Should have gone sent off though.
So yeah, you think he should have gone sent off against Leicester City? That's another conversation.
It's gone, but
it's gone. It's gone to law. But yeah, so with Barcelona and Manchester United, like I said, at Old Trafford, I promise you put your money on Manchester United to win.
Fair enough. Yeah, I have to favor the home side in this contest as well. Like I said, two sides on even play, yeah. And then you have to consider the Old Trafford support is serious. United are in great form. They will feel more hard done by if they lose this game. So yeah, I'm going for United in that game. A few other games in the Europa League, we've got Roma playing the second leg versus Salzburg. They're 1-0 down. Ajax versus Union Berlin. Union Berlin are having a good season in the Bundesliga. That's 0-0 at the moment. Juve play against Nantes, and Juve are currently tied in that game. So yeah, those are just a few of the big games in the Europa League. There are a few others. Let us know your predictions for those games, the Champions League games, and our question of the day for you is: are Manchester United in the title race? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
So somebody is shaking his head. Yeah, I mean, you're just 5 points off the top.
Put it in the comment section.
How are you not in the title race?
Share, subscribe, and see you later.
Right? Peace. Peace.